Yo. Welcome to Starlight Man channel. Welcome in. As you can tell, this loudest video by the name of the title is gonna be about the way things are here aren't the way things are there. So what I mean by that is we're gonna start off on the smallest level, right? So look at it like this. Even with like a group of ants, right? 'Cause we're gonna make this one brief. But even like with a group of ants, right? They may all have certain things that's similar, right? But the way that the ant over here, let's say in my backyard or something like that, compared to an ant, let's say in like Fort Lauderdale in somebody's backyard, even though they may have a certain sense of similarities, they don't both run they kingdoms and they colonialisms and they little colonies the same way. You see what I'm saying? You might see a different breed of ant. They may not do the exact same things that the ones back here do. When you take it up a step a notch, look at it like with us humans, right? Let's just use humans. Let's go straight to humans. The way things are, let's say if you live in Florida, Miami, right? You popping, you popular rather than school. You grow up, you still popular around the city. A lot of people know you lit, you receiving all this money, this attention, this females, all this. That's because you're up under Miami at the moment. You're in Miami, and the way that and things work in Miami, and the way that the wave is there works, you probably work in its favor. Like, hey, you correlate with that in such a form. But when you look compare it to, let's say, like L.A. or maybe New York, let's say L.A. or Seattle or San Francisco or somewhere else like Las Vegas or whatever, the way that things are not necessarily gonna be the same way that things are in Miami. So even though you was lit in Miami and you was popping in Miami, you might go to Las Vegas or go to LA or go to San Francisco or go to Oakland or go to Seattle or go to Denver or whatever, and you not really lit no more. In other words, what used to be lit to you when you was Miami, people was lit, females was all on you, everybody wanted to be cool with you, this and the third. You was lit, you was popping, people seeing you as a light. When you go somewhere else, you may not be that same light. People may not flock to you the same way. If you grew up in those systems, you probably wouldn't have been as popular. You know what I'm saying? You might have been in a situation where you was a dud, or in a situation where people then might have not seen you in that same light that they did here. And that's a great example of the way things are here aren't necessarily the way things are. So I'm correlating that to on a higher level when you talk about actual planets and realms, like we live in Earth. Do you know the words in Russian? Shout out to Rutopi. Shout out to Rutopi. Big man coming through. Shout out to Rutopi. Everybody go follow Rutopi. Whether you got videos or not, you already know how we coming. But so anyway, I'll take that on a higher level and I look at it like this, right? When you got whole Earths, like we in Earth, right? We got whole planets in different realms. Don't you think that that works on a higher level too? As above, so below. So if you could be lit in Miami, but you might not be as lit in LA, you might not be lit in Seattle, you might not be as lit in Chicago. Don't you think that plays out on a higher level too? We talk about planetary energies and realms and different dimensions, whatever realm you in. So it's like right now, if you real popular in Earth, you to the point you famous, right? You well known. You be like Drake, the most one of the most famous people of all time. That don't mean that when you die, if you go to another world, another realm of reality, that's the same thing. Now you may have equipped some of the same abilities. You are that much more of a source now. So when you go to that realm, you may have more of a back end or more of a source to yourself to hopefully get through that realm of reality. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be lit and that you're going to be popping or that you're going to be just as famous and well known as prestigious as you was in this realm. So that's what I mean by the way things are here aren't the way things are there. And also look at it like this too. I don't understand a little bit. I'm just from Russia. I understand that. Oh, okay. Shout you out, Utopi. Hey, let me know if you got any questions in the chat. I get with you. 100%. Appreciate you. But you got to also understand, just even talk about energies alone. The way that energies here in this earth realm play out aren't necessarily the way that those particular energies play out in another realm. What, like, even like, let's use sexual energy, right? The way how people we have sexual organs here don't necessarily play out in other realms the exact same way. Now you have realms that are relative to this space, so they're a little bit more similar. But in general, there's always everything has its own space, and everything has its own is always going to be unique in its own way, even if it is similar to something. That's like you got different shades of blue. You got turquoise, you got teal. Those are very similar. They kind of like almost the same energy, but they're not exactly the same. Everything is always going to have its unique individuality. But if you in a realm that's maybe not too far from Earth, that's relative to Earth space, then you might be in a situation where the energies play out very similar. There's still going to be differences, aka the sexual organs may not look the same. You may be in a situation where the way we use these things are not necessarily look the exact same, but there may be a similar a similar energy to how we maybe use them in the sense of the energy maybe still be there, even though we're in a different realm. You see what I'm saying? But since it's closer relative to this space, everything in it is gonna be similar. It's just like on a smaller level. Look at the South. Alabama is not exactly like Mississippi. It has its uniquenesses to it. Alabama is not like settled like Louisiana. Louisiana is not necessarily like Tennessee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Arkansas, et cetera. But guess what? Even though they all different, they all still relative in space, meaning they all part of what? The deep South. The same way we're up north. You can't tell me Philadelphia and New York are the same. Hell no. But New York, New Jersey, Boston, even Connecticut a little bit, they all have a similar northern energy up north. Now they're not necessarily, I'm not saying that mean they're the same, but there's a similar energy that's a lot more similar than compared to if you go somewhere out west or you go to the deep south. That nigga, that's like night and day. Ain't no comparison. So people be like, "Oh, what do you mean? Huh? You saying Philly and New York?" No, Philly and New York is not the same. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that all that northeast is still relative in space. So they all carry certain similar traits to some extent. That don't mean that they're exactly the same, and the way that they go about it is the same. But the energy is more similar because they're relative to space. So take that on the higher level when we talk about planetary energies and different realms and worlds that you can go to, higher worlds out there, other worlds out there. It plays out the same way. However you lit, you may be lit here in this earth realm, very popular, prestigious, famous, most famous person in the world. You may go to another reality that's further from this space, and you may not be lit at all. Because what was lit here and whatever made you lit here that people appreciated you here for, you may not get appreciated in that realm reality for that same thing. What's lit here is fire for you to do, and that's fire. Ooh, that's fire. That's lit. That's cool. It may not be cool in that other realm reality that you go to. That may not be the energy center that realm resonate with at heart. You see what I'm saying? So you carrying these traits over there, doing that, you're not gonna be known for that. You're gonna be a dud. It don't matter how lit and popular you was. You go there, you won't be as lit and popular as you was here. You see what I'm saying? And that's how stuff plays out too. But you have to understand that. And that's why I say even on a basic energy level, the way that different energies are correlated, even with the chakras. Like we all have sexuality, we all have the ability to think, we have the ability to process information, we all have the ability to have emotions and feelings and sexuality, all that stuff. But the worlds that be further out, they may not necessarily play out the same way that they play out here. And so when you get to certain higher dimensions and certain higher realms, and depending on the space you in, you get both organs. You become androgynous. You're both male and female. So you have both organs, but it's not seen the same way that it's seen here because those are higher dimensional aspects. You see what I'm saying? But the sexual energy be played out like that. And there's some realms where people get birth differently. Like they don't just get birth from the sexual organs. They can get birth from your higher chakras. But then again, just like I said, you won't perceive it the exact same way looking at it like you are now as if you was in that world because now you don't have the full dimensional aspect to be able to grasp and actually make sense out of what I'm saying. You can only just perceive different little aspects of it, and that's the best way I can explain it to you. But there's realms where you can birth out of the heart chakra, aka out of your emotions and feelings. So it's a lot going on with about these other realms. There's realms where you are the man and woman. Like I said, you are androgynous, so you can literally go and have sex within yourself and create life that way. Because the higher you go, the less you need other more things outside of you. You become more of your own source. Like I talked about in my video before, you become more of your own source. So you don't need these things. Now, if you choose to go with other beings, y'all have sex, y'all create. That's beautiful. Because beings are always being created, spiritually and physically, in many different realms, all realms, realities. But it's a more of a situation of how you go dimensional. You choose if you want to or not. You don't have to. It's not a need anymore. Like now, in order to procreate, you need another person. You need a woman. A woman need a man to procreate. But in these realities, you don't need. You see what I'm saying? Because you already are equipped to do these things, and these energies are naturally within you, and you have these physical attributes and assets available to you in that realm when you're in those bodies. But understand that on all levels. So, and even the way sexuality play out here, you may be in another realm of reality. And like I said, space is always in space. So the space that's gonna be over here. Say this is star system that's over here. Say this is our solar system, right? You got a solar system that's not too far by it. So these two solar systems are gonna be relative in space. They may be more similar. They're still not gonna play out 100% the same, but they may be more similar in nature. Then you might have a solar system that's over here. That's a lot bit farther. So they're not really correlating the same way with these two really. They much further out. They don't play out the same way. So the way your sexual energies and your chakras play out, they may not be even aligned the exact same way. The way we talk about from head to toe, one through seven chakra system, root to the crown, their chakras may be More like look more like a Kabbalah tree of life with the chakras over here, in the middle, over here. And then you got some realities way further than the solar system. They are this our solar system, right? You got some realities that's even way farther over here, all the way over there. So once you start, the further you get out, the more these realities don't have anything to do with the reality that we're used to right now. So if you was to go and travel that far out and get born into those worlds, you will realize that everything that you knew before, none of that stuff will correlate, and it will truly be a new experience for you. So you will almost, it's not, people don't look at it like, oh, so I gotta learn everything over again. You're not learning everything over again if you never learned it before. So it's completely a new experience to you. So you're going through the process of learning something. You see what I'm saying? Completely just learning something from bottom to start to finish. You see what I'm saying? And learning the whole aspect of it. But you wouldn't take none of the stuff from here that's in this Earth space and our solar system. If you were in a solar system way far out somewhere else, none of that stuff would even look the same like it is now. No, not the energies won't probably play out the same. The physical bodies damn sure won't play out the same. You definitely won't look like nothing like you did here. Um, now there's always certain concepts like the ability to have sex, the ability to be harmonious and relate with other spirits and other beings, yes. But the energy signatures and how they played out, no. The physical bodies that you're in and how they play out, no. They're completely different. And the more farther out that you are, the more further the realm is from your realm that you go to, the more unique or different that realm will be. So you might go extremely far out. Those realms, you couldn't even really imagine those realms. You couldn't even really conceptualize those realms with the way our mind is processed here, because it's so far out there and it's so far from our space that we don't even really have those thoughts to even perceive those thoughts or those feelings to really even perceive what those realms will be like. But if you was to die and go too far out, just way far out to those worlds, you would have to learn everything that you know now will kind of be dumped. So it will still be a part of you as far as that's still an accumulation that made your spirit that much broader and more bigger so you can ascend to a more in a farther out realm. But you'll also be in a situation where none of that is, you're not taking none of that with you though. Like this is the earth element. So in a realm like that, it probably won't even consist of the earth element. You might be in a place that resonate with a whole nother element. So you got to learn something all over again in the sense of all the way from the ground up again. But it's not like you learning this same stuff again. You learn something different. So it'll still be refreshing because anytime a spirit is in the space of receiving or experiencing something completely new, that spirit feels a relief. It's like refreshing. It's like rejuvenating to me. So it won't be like a burden. Like, oh, I gotta learn all this over again. I just went through Earth, so it won't be like that. Because anytime you go through a new experience, it's kind of refreshing. Because it's not the same old patterns that you already used to doing. A lot of people yearn. A lot of people that's not from here yearn to go to realm of reality like that. Yearn to go to another realm of reality because one, they already don't resonate probably with this Earth element in general. And then two, they already tired of the life that they live in, and they're probably experienced it multiple times, and they really do experience something else anyway. But that's how energies play out very different. So how things are here in every aspect, the way things are played out here, how we eat and what we eat, that won't be the same way in a further out realm reality in all other worlds. The way we eat now with food and all that stuff like that. Hey yo, shout out I shot shot you out. Hey yeah, gang. But anyway, so like check it out. The way like we eat here and stuff like that, the way how like we cook food, all that stuff like that, we eat physical food. It in certain other realities in other worlds, it won't even play out the exact same way. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, the closer that you are to the space that you're in, like aka we're in Earth now, the closer that a star system or a solar system is to us, they may have more closer similarities because they're closer in energy. But the further out you go, there won't be such thing as you necessarily cooking something. It'll be some another concept. You might eat imaginations. You might eat um, thoughts. You might eat emotions and feelings. You might eat certain states of beings. But it's not looked at like it is. Not like I said. That's a different dimensional aspect. Another world. You're not gonna be able to necessarily conceptualize or fully piece out that whole realm in a way because one we're not in the organ to fully perceive it yet. You see what I'm saying? But it'll play out as very different. You see what I'm saying? Um, and that's pretty much it for today. But I did want to say that I just want to say that the way things are here aren't the way things are there, and I mean that in every aspect, even here on Earth. The way things play out in Miami, like I said, if you lit in Miami, you grew up in Miami and you lit, everybody f with you, you get all the females, all the hoes, this and the third. When you go to LA, or you go to Denver, or you go to Las Vegas, or you go to Oakland, or you go to Chicago, or you go to, you see what I'm saying, Baltimore, you go somewhere else, you might not be as lit as you was in Miami because the ways that in trans and waves that they do there was lit and normal for them there, you might not resonate with that energy. So therefore that energy don't resonate with you. So it'll play out as the people and everything that's in it looking at you like you either weird, you either a dud, um, you a lame. It'll play out like that. But it's always hope because it's always a place that people can go that resonate more so with their energy. You see what I'm saying? You said, I said, con MIT. You said, yes, I have eaten food in other realms and have tasted it. You just have to imagine the flavor. Nah, for real facts. Because whenever you even imagine, you're in that realm. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Um, but you gotta understand too. There's different realms within that realm. Like when you tap into imagination or the spirit realm in that dream world, there's different realms within that. A lot of people when they dream, they don't even fly off and go to another world or another space and location. They stay right here and they float around on Earth. So yeah, you'll be doing the same things that you're doing here, but in spirit. You'll take this one of these same vessels, but in the spirit realm. One of these same less dense, lighter vessels, but in the spirit realm, still floating around. You sleep, but you're still floating around, thinking that you're just dreaming, but you're really actually doing these things in the spirit. That's how crazy it get. But a lot of people don't actually fly off, and go fully into the fourth to the sixth dimensional realm and go into that space. You see what I'm saying? Where, AKA, it'll seem like you visually in a different world. The imagination that you project won't look like this. You see what I'm saying? And the emotions and feelings that you get might either be less dense, lighter, or won't consist of the things that are down here. So when you wake up, it'll be like night and day. You'll be like, damn, I just had this crazy ass dream. Whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was good or bad, it'll play out like that. And then the way that those worlds play out will be different too. But yeah. Other than that, yeah, y'all be free to ask me questions if y'all want. I'm about to hit out soon, but yeah, that's how things play out. So things always play out differently in every different location that you're in, from a smaller level to a broader level. Like I broke down with the ants, animals, to us humans being in different states. Like I said, if you from Miami and then you another person from Seattle, or even from country to country, what's lit, what they do in Asia and Singapore and Korea, what they maybe do that's lit compared to what we do over here that's lit, is definitely damn sure don't be the same. What they do in Russia that's lit, damn sure ain't necessarily the same with what they might do in Australia. You see what I'm saying? That's just for an example. And then that plays out on larger levels. And it just takes larger and larger levels. It plays that out on larger levels. Because when you look at it as far as planets that we in the actual realms and worlds that we into, you may look at yourself like I said, if you celebrity and you on Earth and you popping, you trending, you might go to another realm of reality or world or planet and you might not be shit. I hate to say it, but you might not be shit. You could have actually been the most prestigious person in the previous world, in the previous realm that you was in before you came to this world. For whatever desire you was floating and seeing this as a light that you choose to come down into this realm of reality, you could have been the flyest person in that realm. And for some reason you was attached to a desire and you wanted to come down to earth, and then you don't be the shit. And you don't be shit. You know what I'm saying? People probably look at you as lame, like I said before, on a smaller level, with just the different cities. That'll be play out on a higher level too when you talk about the lives that you in. This is why I got a video called about how sometimes life don't be worth living. But I'm gonna break that down because I'm not trying to push no people off of themselves, but I am gonna tell the truth about the realm realities the realm of realities that we go into. Gotta slow it down. But I get excited when I talk about the spiritual knowledge. But anyway, moving along. Understanding that is key point because even from a realm point of view, do people wonder why they be looked at a certain type of way in Islam? Like wherever I go, you see what I'm saying? I'm looked at this way. I'm looked at this way. And yes, sometimes that do be our own internal world, like what they say, wherever you are, there you are, because the energy that we lost into, you're gonna still manifest that around. That's true too. But sometimes it don't matter what you do. If you don't resonate with a group of people, see, hold on, nah, because I want to say that too. That's another thing, because that's simply a form of lostness. It's truth and everything. It's half and half. That's why I say nothing black and white. Because when people be saying stuff like, oh, yeah, oh, you're just not being yourself. That's why you're not attracting people in your life. You're just not being yourself. That's not necessarily always true either. It's truth to it, but that's not always the full totality. Because sometimes you start seeing why people don't be themselves. It's the reason why a person not being themselves. Don't you think if a person was naturally being accepted, when you first do anything, you naturally being yourself. You don't start being not being yourself until you see something externally outside of you that you feel like is more suitable for you to do for whatever benefit that come with it. So don't you think if somebody first, everybody was being themselves first. Don't you think if being themselves was actually beneficial to them, that they would have kept doing that? Obviously they was being themselves and something negative happened, aka somebody said something negative to them. They wasn't accepted for being who they truly are. That's how people switch up. or else everybody would be being real and saying how they truly feel, because everybody would be accepting them. But that's not the case. So for people to even feel like they shouldn't be themselves, or like they gotta fake it, fake the funk, automatically letting you know that being yourself ain't always the answer. And here's the thing: sometimes you gotta know when to fake it too. Now it is truth in the more you being yourself, the more eventually you build more orb of your own internal energy, your true self. So eventually that will lead into manifest people that and placing things that go more so into your own favor. But you just gotta understand that it's not always that. It's like that people be trying to make it, bro. It don't always be like that though. But I just want to throw that out there. That ain't really important. I just want to say that. But other than that, I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Um, but that's how I play out. Oh, and let me say this last thing. Just like I mentioned with the planets in the world, it's like you might be in a world that don't really f with you with your energy. Cause a lot of times, if you in a world that don't f with you most likely don't f with that world, because you don't abide by the ways that that world does things. You see what I'm saying? The same way, like I talk about with just states and countries. Um, when people be in situations where their energy is not necessarily accepted or receptive to the the damn the damn city or the damn state that they at. You see what I'm saying? Their energy may be much different, so they don't find as much approval in those places. The same way that plays out, I told you on a planetary level, and different worlds you go to, is how people be want to off themselves because they feel like they hate being on Earth too, and then a lot of people don't be liking them either. But that plays out even on a broader level too. Like when you talk about like on a solar system level, everything is relative to space. So even when we talk about solar systems, the solar system that we in is a very small solar system, by the way. It's actually not that big. They say it's big, but that's only relative to us and our size comparison. But in compared to it's very small. You see what I'm saying? Or small in nature in general. You know what I mean? And so, but all these planets, even though they be very different, like Jupiter is like what wisdom, knowledge, philosophy, seeking knowledge, philosophy, all that stuff like that. Aries is war, aggression, passion, a little bit of sexuality. Scorpio is deep sexuality, deep transformation, all that death, all that stuff like that. Uranus is change, opposition, being unique and original. Pisces and I'm sorry, Neptunian energy, that rules by Pisces, is your ability to have an imagination, all these things like that, and creativity. Even though these things are very different, they all still abide by a certain type of law. They all still abide by a certain type of energetic vibration for them to even be relative rotating around each other in that space. Because in the spirit realm, you only hang around another person based off of resonation. It's not like here where it is kind of like here in every ways, but it's more literal and it's more or less dense and metaphysical. So who you truly are, you can't run from who you truly are. Which damn, I got a video coming about that shit. Now that video gonna be hard when I come out with that video. That video gonna be hard. I can't wait. I got a couple lined up, but I got a video about that how you can't hide from who you truly are. I think I might have already did one too, but I don't care. I'm gonna have to do another, but that's gonna be lit when I do that one, boy. Cause I'm gonna talk all about how you can't hide from who you truly are. But that goes into what I'm saying now. So however you vibrate in that realm, you be around others that vibrate the same exact way. You see what I'm saying? In some shape or form. So they all are relative to each other's space. You see what I'm saying? And they all going after something. Are they following something? Are they all in the same state of being in some shape or form, even if it's played out differently? But with that being said, you gotta understand that too. So they all still this whole solar system resonate with a certain particular energy. And then you gotta think it's thousands and thousands of solar systems in one galaxy. And then you gotta look at what galaxy that's a higher level than even the solar system. So there's whole rulership. Not I don't like to use the word rulership. I don't know how to say it. There's a whole principle or law over every space, even as broad as, like I said, galaxy. There's a certain overall code. There's a certain overall code of conduct, a certain overall law that's being abided by a galaxy. You see what I'm saying? That everything that's in that particular galaxy, no matter how different it is, abides by one particular way of life. And since it's so broad as a galaxy form, it may take the form of like it's less dense. It's hard to pinpoint that type of shit, but it would play out as like something less dense, something that you could be two different people doing exact opposite things, but for somehow, some way, y'all still are abiding by the same energy. Like that's how I play, cause that's more like in the realm of God. When we talk about galaxy beings, that's more in the realm of God. Those a lot of times harder to put into words. But when I knit down exactly the way that I can put it into words, I will come back and give y'all an example about that. But once you start getting higher in those realms, the eighth dimensional beings and seventh and eighth, it starts to be hard to just cipher everything with words like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's easier when we talk about like lower realms, like in the astral and all that stuff like that. But once you start going higher out in those celestial realms, it's a little bit harder to kind of pinpoint exactly with words to give you the best explanation to describe to you something, because those dimensional levels are so high in the first place, people barely can conceive the fifth dimension. And we in the third, people barely can conceive. Some people damn sure can't even conceive the damn fourth, let alone talk about seventh and eighth. So, you know what I'm saying? So it'll be harder to put into words, but that plays out on every different layers. There's like 1,000 different galaxies in a supercluster, which supercluster to me I believe is just another way of explaining a verse, because there's multiple different verses that all fit into one quote unquote universe. But you think about it like this: when scientists be saying that, oh, the universe, we discover only 10% of the observable universe. How do you, if you saying that you only discovered 10% of the observable universe, then how could you say that it's only 10% and give that a percentage level if you don't, if you don't know the full totality of how big it is in the first place for you to even put a percentage level on it? So that never made sense. But I do believe that all these things are endless and stuff like that. There's always life within life in some shape or form. But other than that, I'm gonna let y'all go. You see what I'm saying? And life just goes higher and higher, and things are more expanded. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said,